continues in that tradition as somebody who marries her interest in artistic practice with intellectual practice too.
One look and I'm done. One glance from your eyes and I'm captivated. The taste of your skin, the warmth of your hungry lips has me so taken, and I love the way you can make me dance from miles away. When I'm with you, I'm so sedated, I'm captivated by you.
Stephanie showed distinct talent and promise while attending the Tisch School, but the formalities and structure felt restraining to the aspiring artist. And despite the elite nature of the course, she dropped out.
I was a good student. I loved to learn, but I wanted to work and I wanted to make music. So I was in the Tisch program. I dropped out. I told my parents I'm leaving. I'm gonna get an apartment and 8 jobs, and they were like, have a good time, kid. And they were really supportive, you know, and I really went for it. My dad gave me a year to get signed. I moved to the Lower East Side when I was, 18. I moved to East Village, and then Lower East Side when I was 19. And you know, everybody dressed different, everybody talked different, everybody's swagger was different, and I'm somebody that likes to experiment with different things, so I bought a lot of leather and a lot of sequins, and I started making, I was go-go dancing for fun, so I started making my costumes because it was cheaper. And it's a really big influence on the music because I sing about the lifestyle. I'm not making underground music, I'm making pop records about an underground lifestyle. That's the difference.
The East Village, or you should just say the Village, period, there are a lot of artists, visual and audio and otherwise. And there's so much to see, so many different types of people. I mean, down East 3rd Street, the old biker gang, the Hells Angels, they're still there. You see them outside. There's so much to draw from and be inspired by. You have no other choice, I should say, no other recourse but to grow.
It's really difficult to pinpoint a moment where Stephanie Germanotta became Lady Gaga. Some people would say that it's a development over her time in the Lower East Side. She might have been experimenting with certain substances, certain altered states of mind, reading a lot, studying theatre stuff, and all of these elements are starting to coalesce.
She was living on the Lower East Side, and she's infamously said that she would spend entire days doing bags of cocaine while she did her makeup. And so she would do coke, and then she would do her makeup until it was perfect, then she would start all over again. And she doesn't really have any qualms about saying that. It kind of just adds to the glam rock mystique of who she was and who she's become. And so that was very influential to her, just kind of these days of experimenting with drugs, but also with her look and her sound. And it kind of, these little formative pieces ended up building up Lady Gaga and who she became.
Of course, with the whole background that New York has in music, with the people like Blondie, the Ramones, Cyndi Lauper, Madonna, Studio 54 and Warhol, all this weight of history, and for somebody intelligent and educated and musical, you can see that things may start to come to a head in somebody who's aware enough in themselves.
I don't know, she's an interesting character. From the time she was a teenager, she was interested in performing. Now that's not that unusual. You know, we lived with a lot of these entertainment robots who came up through the Disney Channel and who were professionals at age 12. Not so with Lady Gaga. She was actually in junior high at age 12, but by 17, she was basically in a bikini and fishnets performing in gay clubs. That's a little different than the Britney Spears story, and it's one of the reasons why Lady Gaga is a little different and a little more interesting than Britney Spears.
Whilst beginning a journey of self-discovery and developing her onstage persona, Stephanie continued to play on the New York club circuit, where she had a markedly different sound and style to what fans of Lady Gaga would eventually come to know her for.
The weird thing is if what you know about Lady Gaga is the hits, and you're a fan of the videos and the big hits, listen to the record and you're going to find a few surprises, but bigger surprises are tucked away in her past. Yeah, she was a brunette and a little bit of a rock chick. not an all-the-way rock chick, but you know, a little bit of that kind of performer.
She was almost kind of like reggae hippie. You know, she had the Stephanie Germanotta band where these three guys would back her up and they would play covers of like Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. And you could tell even then that she was super talented, but she had like a peace sign tattoo and, you know, just kind of dark hair and really different than what she's doing now.
She didn't really become her own until she got blonde and she got glitzed up. But some of her early stuff definitely had a rock edge to it. Because she grew up on Rolling Stones and Beatles. She loves Marilyn Manson. She grew up on that. You know, she once told me like she wants to make a dance record that rock guys would like too.
Listen, I've got the sickest ambition. Deep in the mirror, I am scared. Don't know who the hell is there. Yeah, I'm losing my reflection.
I think getting a foothold in the New York club scene is extremely important for anyone who's an aspiring recording artist. A lot of the students at New York University are always in the process of going out and playing all of the little clubs that are in the Village and the Lower East Side area. They're easy to get into, they're easy to perform at. It's hard to generate an audience, but that's sort of the work that has to be done, is going out and building up that audience. From my understanding, Lady Gaga is somebody who really spent a lot of time on the Lower East Side performing and developing her skills that way.
I mean, what's really interesting is the club scene that she was onto isn't really the club scene she's in now. You say New York club scene and you think, oh wow, maybe Lady Gaga was out there with a New York superstar DJ doing the disco circuit. No, she was actually in rock clubs and gay clubs. And again, this is one of the things that makes her a little more interesting. Though her big hits are basically Euro disco hits, tucked away on her record are a few glam rock things. And that's the world she was coming out of. It's not like she was a sensation when she was here in New York. And if you can find footage of her playing at the Bitter End is one of the shittiest, most washed up rock clubs in the city of New York. No one wants to go there. There isn't anyone in the music industry who says, really, you're playing at the Bitter End? I might drop by and check it out. Absolutely not. You'd sooner cut off your own feet.
She says that she really became Lady Gaga one night at the Bitter End when she was playing and no one would listen to her. And so she all of a sudden made this decision to take off her clothes. And she just played this song in her underwear. And that was the first time that people really kind of paid attention. And she said that was the day that Lady Gaga was born. She felt like she rose up from the dead and kind of took her place in pop music.
Stephanie's talent, training and experience seemed as though it was starting to pay off when in 2005, at the age of 19, she was signed to L.A. Reid's record label Def Jam. This, however, proved to be a false start for the superstar in waiting, as after only 3 months she was dropped and headed back to the clubs to continue grinding out a career in music.
She was doing a lot of burlesque shows at places like the Slipper Room, kind of the Rivington, Ludlow area. And that's where there's a lot of creative people who live there, everything from artists to fashion designers to stylists, and she had this whole crew, a lot of whom work for her now. It's called the House of Gaga, and they're the ones who help conceptualize everything from the way she looks to her stage shows.
There's one person that Stephanie Germanotta, when she was still with her band, met, and that was a performer by the name of Lady Starlight, who is, a decade older and had been a veteran of the clubs as a DJ, as a singer,